Hello, it's Deborah from Madison's and welcome to my latest weekly video news from Madison's. Well, lots of little interesting stories in the news this week, which I thought I would pick on for your entertainment. Firstly, though, of course, let's talk about base rate cut last week. Cut from 4.75 to 4.5. An overwhelming majority of the Monetary Policy Committee voted to cut base rate. But interestingly, two of the members wanted to take it down further to 4.25. That's on the back of concerns over the UK economy. It was expected to grow by 1.5% this year, but looking like it's only going to grow by 0.75. So two of the MPC feeling that bigger measures were needed to stimulate the economy. But good news that it's down to 4.5%. I think that will be the start of a few rate cuts that we will see this year, hopefully meaning we end up about 4%. And let's see what the lending market do. They might start to cut their rates a bit more on the expectation that there might be another cut coming quite sooner because of those two members that wanted to cut it a bit more. So fine margins those lenders work on. They price in what they think is going to happen all the time. But yeah, good news. It will be a good stimulus for the market. Inflation looking much better. I think we're set fair for a decent 2025 property market. Well, of course, last week as well, there was also, you may not have realised this unless you bank with Barclays or maybe saw the news that Barclays had a huge IT outage on Friday. And I think it served as a really salient reminder to us all how much we rely on the banking system still for the conveyancing process. So we had a transaction that should have completed. Barclays were involved in the deal and it didn't. Now, there is a piece of legislation I always have to read to make sure I get it right. It's called a licence to occupy, but it's under Standard Conditions of Sale, 5th edition, clause 5.2, which allows a buyer to take possession before formal completion has happened under a licence. And that is what we did for our purchasers of a property that we were selling in the town who couldn't complete on their transaction. So in theory, the sellers need not have moved out actually because they hadn't had their money, but of course they did. It's what happens on completion day. Everyone packs up and gets out, and the thought of going back in is just too hideous. So with these particular buyers with a licence, and all was well, and it all went through okay on Monday. But it didn't sort that IT problem out until Sunday. So that was a big issue and left lots of families unable to complete if their solicitors didn't invoke that license to occupy condition that you can have. But yeah, interesting to show how delicately the banking system still governs so much that goes on in conveyancing. And of course, there's a lot of talk at the moment about the government wanting a task force being set up to improve conveyancing times. The average at the moment is 120 days to get to completion. And it's felt that if there can be more collaboration across various parties involved and digitalisation, that will massively speed up transaction processes. The Law Society came out this week and fully in support of improving those because I think they feel the workloads of their solicitors are lengthened, certainly because of our sort of convoluted system that we have at the moment. And of course, with the stamp duty threshold looming, the solicitors are creaking at the seams at the moment with trying to get deals through. So yeah, lots that needs to be done there. Well, I thought I'd end with an interesting story. You know how I love a bit of a high value, rich story. Well, this villa, what was it called? Horbury Villa in Notting Hill. It was bought in 2019 by the daughter of a Georgian oligarch and her wealthy husband. And they paid 32 million for it back in 2019. Well, it had an infestation of moths, which they felt the owner absolutely hadn't declared on the property information form under the infestation section or other information. The moths were dreadful, evidently. It destroyed their expensive clothes, their wine collection. It would land on their children's toothbrushes while they were brushing their teeth, land on their dinner while they were eating, land on their hair. I mean, I think for anybody who's had a moth infestation, you know that it can get out of hand. We had one here in the office once. So downstairs when James and I were between properties and we basically sold our bigger house and we were renting a smaller house, put a lot of our possessions downstairs, including a really expensive rug that he'd inherited. Anyway, moths got into that. It was dreadful. Literally, this end of the office was covered. They would fly around everywhere. We had to do several moth bombs. It was horrific. Anyway, this happened with this big villa, expensive house. And highly unusually. I don't think I've ever known that. I'm sure there is precedent before, but it's so rare. The judge ruled that they could hand the house back and get their money back. Um, the exact details, the judge said that Mr. Woodward Fisher, he was the property developer who'd done it actually, ex-Great Britain rower, had failed honestly to disclose the serious infestation and reports concerning work required on the insulation where the moths had nested. I think they were very, very difficult to get out. He made an order. He had to pay back 32.5 million purchase price, less 6 million because they've been using the house quite happily for 6 years. And then they were about to receive 4 million in additional damages relating to the infestation, including £15,000 for ruined clothes and the 3.7 million in stamp. So overall, they will get around 30 million back. I don't know if that's such a bad thing. I mean, the property market's done quite well since 2019. He'd probably be able to sell it for a decent amount of money, but let's hope he's got that money to pay back. But that is highly, highly unusual to see a house being ordered to be handed back. But yeah, moths, dreadful. Anyway, I'm just going to end with a lovely property that we have got for sale in the heart of the town. It's in the Royal Wells development, so Berkeley Homes, so very prestigious, well-renowned builder. And it's a very unusual property. There's none others like this in the development. It's got really flexible accommodation. It's very, very spacious, just under 3,000 square feet. It's on a guide of 1.195. You've got your own private garden, your integrated garage, really nice bedroom, 4-bedroom space, reception space, and it is exquisitely presented. So if that one is of interest, do give us a call. Half term next week, so I am off skiing. So I will look forward to seeing you all when I get back, and enjoy your half term, whatever you're up to too. Bye bye.